of time.
Yeah.
Any problem?
Oh, good to see you again, mate.
Buonasera. How are
Buonasera. Yeah, good. Thank you, mate. Good. Twice in 2 days, eh? We're on fire.
Right. And all this excitement, you hear the crowd, is like when the teams go in the field to play URC, right?
Spot on. Yeah. It's definitely getting to the countdown, right, for the first game. So
Yes,
super excited.
We are there this Friday. We're gonna start with Edinburgh Leinster, and then Cardiff ZEBRE'S. So we're gonna be busy Friday night watching the game together, which is gonna be fun.
Yeah, it's gonna be a fun one for everyone involved. For those of you guys who are wondering what we meant by twice in 2 days, Ottavio and I spent last night just sort of going over the results of our new president via the elections, and just sort of broke down why that might happen, and potentially what that means. So if you guys are interested in that, or if it does come up, obviously we're quite happy to get the politics out of the way. Like Ottavio said, it's good to get that one out the way. So if you want to inform yourself and learn a little bit more about what that means about the future of Italian rugby, definitely have a listen to our previous pod. I think you'll get some stuff out of that.
Absolutely. The name of that pod, the episode 1 of the new season, is New Season, New President. Easy to remember. Not to forget. And today it's URC time, baby. We call him in this way because there is a lot of excitement. Of course, it's a different season because there's no more the Rugby World Cup. So everything changed. Thinking about South Africa in that perspective, thinking about what the teams are doing, how long it was the preseason, not the difference between this season, last season, talking about ZEBRE'S, for example. So a lot stuff to do, and we've seen Benetton play against Harlequins last weekend. So
that's actually probably a good place to start. How do you want to do it, Otto? Do you want to start with Benetton and then sort of spend a bit of time on Zebra?
So let's go with Benetton. Benetton, first of all, is gonna play home against Scarlets, right?
Yes.
On the 21st, so 5 days starting from today. And the starting of the season until Christmas, we'll see Benetton playing Scarlets, Glasgow Warriors, Leinster in Monaco. Really important to say, in Monaco, Sharks in Monaco, so always in Treviso. Then Dragons away, Bulls in Rovigo, and away Edinburgh, and then Zebre. So it's a pretty interesting starting of the season for them with Scarlets. I go straight to the point. I want 5 points from this game, no matter what. We want to do that step up that we are expecting more, like the consistency that we want to see from Benetton, and the power that has Benetton this year, all over every role. Maybe we're gonna see some issues in some position, and we're gonna go dig into that. But great market, I would say. Great transfers.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that's a really good place to sort of start. There was some big money signings from Benetton, like really starting to sort of, start the season probably as they intend to finish it. Because I think one thing that Benetton have been a little bit guilty of in the past couple of seasons is sort of petering off at the points of the international period, because obviously such a large proportion of the Italian team are built from Benetton. But it looks like there's massive emphasis on trying to sort of reinforce the roster and just overall try and sort of bolster the talent. So very, very excited. Obviously, Otto, baton to you, mate. Like which of the let's say some of the market from the back end of last season and this summer that you're most excited to see in
So you're
camp?
right about also the back end of the last season, because for me it's key what happened getting Paulo Dogu on. So I'm really excited to see him playing. Can be a really good opportunity for Mr. Leg Day playing in different positions.
Mr. Leg Day.
Yeah, it's absolutely important for us to see this player develop and getting confident with the rest of the team, because we saw what he can do, how he can break defense, how he can go over the gain line. So him, and then Mr. You remember Slow Hand, like the guitarist, which is slow run, because seems like he's not running fast, but at the end is fast and he's strong, which is Linag.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
see
I mean,
how
both.
he skipped the 3 players when he scored the try.
Yeah,
I mean, seems like, oh, okay, nobody's gonna fall into that step. 3 players gone, boom. Doesn't seem so fast, but he's fast, he's strong, and he knows how to score tries. So those 2 players, they will be really important in the development on this team, bringing a lot of more quality in the back 3, let's say, because Mendy that is playing with Pumas is training with Pumas, which is good, getting back into that. And then you have, of course, Mr. Reliability Gallagher, a different kind of 15. More Padovanesque.
Yeah. I think that's a really good analog of what he's like. I think you're spot on, mate. I think like there's some really good players that have come across. Obviously, Paulo was a little bit unfortunate with the injuries that he got early on. Liner on his debut, like you said, steps, 3 people sort of trying to cover that wing and goes through. He looked really good, but I think now we're starting to develop like the different horses for different courses. Now in Benetton, I think we're definitely starting to see different players in different scenarios. Obviously, Paulo and Ottavio are probably quite similar, albeit Paulo's maybe slightly more competent on the high ball, but Ottavio is like an absolute monster going forward. So like you can start seeing sort of like, okay, well, if Paulo's in the national team come the international window, okay, well, Ottavio can sit in and like I said, we're starting to sort of see what the plan is to try and sort of better understand what Bortolami wants to do, I think.
And another point that I want to add to that is the fact that as we're expecting to see a different kind like timing for the players in concert with Coach Quesada. So we're gonna see a different management of the players, and maybe we're gonna see something different in some position, in some moment of the year. Like we know how important breaks, but we see, for example, the last season how he was managed differently with Benetton. So you want a fresh Nacho when he's art, but you want also space to other players, no matter what. But you have to put it. So I guess this let's say the turnover, as they say in football, turnover with Fekitoa, more opportunity for Drago entering as a 12 with Menoncello moving 13 and vice versa. Then they know what to do in the field. The breaks on cello, no? But we need all the rest of them to be high standard, high quality.
And I think that comes with like the depth that they're building. Obviously there's going to be opportunity for players to start competing for positions, and that's just going to generally push the overall standard of the team higher and higher. Obviously we've seen what an enlarged roster can do with Leinster over a period of time, and obviously I know Benetton are definitely modelling themselves after Leinster. So the owners put money like where his mouth is, and it looks like we're in a position now where we're seeing Benetton start to reap the rewards of that enlarged roster that's been there for, let's be honest, probably like a season, the previous season, but even before then they were starting to put the pieces in place to make sure that the the roster was big enough to compete both in Europe and in the URC.
Absolutely, and you know what else is interesting to see the development of some other players that they're joining the team now, and they can have chance during the year. Talking about Bazan Velez, because he has international experience. He played more than, which is crazy to think. He played more probably game time than Albornoz in the last World Cup. Just to say something weird, right? We saw a really charming, let's say, was really charming the way Albornoz played last weekend against Ireland, especially the second half. Sorry, Australia, no Ireland.
Yeah.
So it's going to be really interesting to see the front row. And Mike, if we have to talk about issues in the squad, let's say the hooker position is the issue for what we saw in the last couple of games. I think that is something, because in the last we saw Gasperini not being the straighest thrower.
Yeah.
The same happened with everybody. We don't have that accuracy that seems to be part of what Lucchesi and Nicotera have brought in the team in the last couple of years. Not only throwing, but playing in the field. So if we have to find something that is not so strong, but with potential to develop, is that position. Hopefully Bernasconi will come really strong back.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point, because obviously we've had the almost like the embarrassment of riches of having both Nicotera and Lucchesi, like you said, and I think we're in a position now where these players who are underneath them, because obviously we were so reliant on them, and probably we weren't expecting both of them to potentially go, has left a bit of a void, and that void needs to be improved drastically very quickly. So yeah, there's lots of opportunity. That's the beauty of it as well. Now there's players that need to put their hands up. There's a void there. There's going to be competing players, like you said. Bernasconi is probably going to be the front runner there, but obviously they were busy with getting Manfredi from ZEBRE'S as well, and like you said, Gasperini was a young talent, albeit probably has some stuff to work on himself that he'd probably admit himself, in terms of like the set piece. But he can move around the park as well, and he scored some important tries in the under-20s as well. So he's got a nose for the line. So I think we're in a position now where this sort of opening few weeks, it like no disrespect to Scarlets, I'm sure they're going to come back out and really try and sort of give it a go. We're in a position now where we're going to start seeing, Benetton have a bit of a ramp up in terms of quality, and we're going to see who are the front runners very quickly and how they could potentially benefit the wider team.
I will tell you, let me find it out now. Yep. All the players in, players out, checking just on all.rugby in case you want to see the same. So we have Riccardo Genovese that moved from ZEBRE'S, Marco Manfredi, the other former ZEBRE'S, Bazan Velez, Luis Lainag, Matt Gallagher, and we had from the end of the last season, let's say, the long injury like Paolo Dogo that came back in the field. Players out, which is interesting. Federico Zani was coaching the Red Panthers too. Nicotera to Stade Francais, Lucchesi Toulon, Lazzaroni Mogliano, Harry Stowers, don't know where is he now. Pettinelli back down too. Duvenage, who was playing in the Curry Cup these last weeks. Giacomo
Interesting.
Neruti. Yep, absolutely. That is something surprising, actually.
Yeah, I thought he was going to go straight into coaching.
I thought so, and I thought he was staying in Treviso. Now I don't know if maybe it's just for last shot with his former team before coming back, but this is to understand.
Yeah.
The move from Benetton to ZEBRE'S, Riera in Rouen in France, Marcus Watson retired, and Padovani, who he played, as we said yesterday, 10 for Mogliano in the last game. So those players in and out, plus some good kids like Pretorius Midena, Miranda, Anthony Miranda, great number 8 for me, and Jacques Leut, because we have a couple of players that are South African born, but they already spent a couple of years in with the under for Benetton. So probably they are, let's say, those project players. We have a second a lock, which is Pretorius, and Cloete, which is a wing. So couple of interesting situation over there. Sorry, I think didn't mention this guy. So it's Zanon, of course. Zanon is another one. That has yes, Joshua, we're gonna go there because that is also the speculation of the day about these days.
Yeah, I was going to say, I just think it's quite easy for us to start looking at like the in-out and start seeing sort of what Benetton are trying to do, particularly sort of with the profile of player that has been moving out, Padovani, Stowers, DD, if he is moving out, Zani, like they're really looking at sort of some of the senior players who the next transition in their, you know, in their career might even be, you know, coaching, whether it be somewhere in Italy or elsewhere. So they're looking to sort of like start bringing the profile of the team down a little bit. And obviously those players with a lot of experience are normally quite expensive anyway as well. So obviously that it opens up funds for the likes of the Liners, the Gallaghers, the Paolo Dogwood, and so on and so forth. So it's going to be interesting to see. Obviously right now it looks like there's still going to be some form of like permit player. We'll see sort of how that transpires over the course of the months and the year. Obviously
just permit to put player a couple of name there. One can be, of course, Mr.
Marini.
Gallerini.
Yeah.
Another one is Zanandrea.
Yeah.
Two players that are really important in our future as an Italian fan in general.
Yeah, no, 100% agree. And I think, like, you know, for those of you guys who are listening who followed the under-20s, obviously we're in a position where these players need to be nurtured. So, like, they need game time, but they also need this exposure to the top level. And I think, you know, we were talking about how competition drives obviously excellence and improvement. And, you know, being in a position where Gallorini is like, you know, scrummaging against some of the better props in Italian rugby, I think, you know, we'd be in a position where it's going to accelerate his growth. So that's an important part as well, right? It's the exposure to the high level.
Mike, I have a couple of questions for you all around some of the, let's say, the players that will gonna be the manifesto of this year for Benetton. So I would like to ask you, who will be for you the top try scorer, the top scorer? So that is a big thing about the number 10. Who will play, who will kick this team? Breakthrough player of the year, the best young player. But you cannot say Menoncello. I know.
Is he still? Is he not young? He's 22 now, right?
Still forever young. I want to be forever Menoncello. And the surprise, the guy.
Okay.
Shock.
Do you want me to do one? You do the other.
Let's do both together. Top try scorer of the team will be Onisi Ratave.
Yeah, I think it's got to be someone who isn't going to be affected by the international window. Like, it needs to be someone who's going to be there consistently. And, you know, chances are it's probably going to be a winger. So I think Ratave is probably a good shout. That's who I had in mind as well, to be honest.
Okay, just to pick another player, I will go with Paolo Dogu, just because I'm pushing a lot on him.
Good.
I started in this way this pod today. I'm gonna keep doing it for the rest of the time today.
Nice.
So I'm going with Odogu and him. If you have to pick a forward, the top try scorer for the forwards, you think will be Bernasconi? And why is it Bernasconi? Of course, the mole.
I think obviously I'm almost tempted to say a back rower, to be honest. Not because I don't think we're going to improve on the more. It's just it's not really something that I've seen, you know, Benetton deploy all that much. You know, Yeah, I'm gonna say who scores a lot? Toa's pretty good, but he doesn't really score too many. It's a workhorse.
Gallo.
Gallo's a good shout, you know. He is actually genuinely he's a good shout just because he's a bowling ball. He's a wrecking ball, just runs into people ping ponging over. I am going to say I am going to say Zuliani.
Zuliani, interesting. I'm gonna add a little thing here because I don't want to forget about that. What if the top try scorer for the forwards this year will be Agustin Crevi? Because that is the speculation of this about the rumors. For he is in Italy. He was watching a couple of Argentinian players around, and
in what capacity though? What are they his friends or like what was he doing with those Argentinian players? Like they're just mates that invited him, or
mates, colleagues from time ago. Some of that kind of stuff. He's free, right? So he's a buy to the national team. He's a buy to. He ended up his contract in UK. So, are you up for 6 months, Crevi, like Barrett style, from December to June?
Yes. And I'll tell you why. It buys time. It buys time. It allows like the people underneath to learn from. He's got over 100 caps, hasn't he? Like seasoned professional who's played, you know, at the top level against some of the best teams in the world under loads of pressure, captain the team, and he throws darts, mate. And that's one thing where, you know, we can desperately work on as a team. So if he comes in the capacity that, yes, he's a player, but he's sort of a player coach, I'd be really happy with that. Just mentor the young hookers. He'll be invaluable for the team, not just because of what he does on the field, but potentially what he can do and affect off it as well, you know?
And I think also the way to manage the last 20 minutes of some art games, even during the Six Nation games, just before and after, to see injured players, how long they take to recover, can be good. Of course, I hope in a really fighting for the position war between all the hookers this year for Benetton. I want them to try to step up. Let's say the only one that honestly I care a little bit less probably is Maile, because Bernasconi's been there, and also his age is telling me that he can be really good, strong, like he's been for years now, Gallo for Benetton, and how he became during the last 2-3 years a really killer player, which is Albornoz. So I would like to say the same from him. And from, of course, Gasperini, Manfredi, to show their abilities to straight up the throw from the line out, and bringing high standards, as you said before. So that is something that I'm really hoping for. But anyway, we will see next weeks if something will change for the opportunity to see Agustin Crevi join Benetton, and after that, nothing else. Let's move forward. We have top scorer. You think it will be Albornoz or Jacopo Maga, the scorer for the?
How much transition is there between players like this? The international window, obviously, Argentina, I'd expect to see Albornoz play against Italy. Umaga is obviously a free agent. He's going to be a free agent. Sorry, he's not really tied to England per se, so he's probably just going to be there the whole time, and he's probably going to grow as the season goes. He's going to be a constant person with Uren as well, who's Andy Uren is just going to like constantly improve that that partnership. I actually do think it's probably going to be, but then Albornoz scores so many tries. I'm going to say Umaga.
Umaga.
Yeah, I'm not going to sit on the fence.
Okay, I'm going with Albornoz just to put another. Of course, the fight is there. So you're telling
Yeah,
me him then Marine, of course, is the other guy to see what's gonna happen. This Umaga like this past season is saying Joshua in the chat. Breakthrough player of the season. Who will be the player that will gonna be wow the season to remember, which is different than a surprise player.
mm. I'm gonna go rogue on this one, mate. I think Gallagher can bring so much to the team. I think I think he just can bring so much to the team, mate. I'm gonna say Gallagher, and I'm not even gonna think about anyone else. I think he could. He just has something different, right? Like his boot, like his rugby IQ, more importantly, like it's just something that's been missing. He slots in so nicely.
Look, I love the way he played the first game with the Italian jersey because he was really into the communication with the back three, being everywhere when needed. The big up and under he played for the Garbisi try was
Yep.
I think really interesting. So yeah, he can give a lot of different standard back there because we know what Reno Smith can do,
Yep.
how Maverick is, and he's more like an architect behind
Yeah,
it, which is
I
the
think we
kind
need
of player.
consistency though. If we, especially at like the harder levels, mate. I think having someone that can make something out of nothing, that's brilliant. That's sort of Albornoz's like bag though. Do you know what I mean? He just comes on, does something ridiculous, and he'll score a try or he'll get someone in. I think if you can't really have two of those players on the pitch at once, I think that's where, especially if they're two people who take initiative, like sometimes wires get crossed, sometimes that puts you difficulty in a counter attack and defense. Like that's my thought process as well.
Young player. I agree with you with the Gallagher. I would like to see something like that, like a breakthrough season for him.
I'm hoping the best young player is going to be Genovese here. He's
Oh,
been a player that we've spoken to. He's really level headed, really down to earth young man, very ambitious, and he's had a couple of seasons at ZEBRE'S. I'm hoping it can be him. He has the potential at under 20s. We just need to watch what he did against Finn Baxter in that England match where we won 6-0. Like he didn't lose a single battle against Finn Baxter, and obviously we've seen where Finn Baxter's developed to, the rate that he's developed to, and we can, they're of the same cloth. They're cut from the same cloth. So if we can see him develop into the player that we know he can develop, 100% for me.
I hope so because I saw him really like he's really focused. He's a guy that does a lot for rugby. Seems to even when we interview him, he's in the last season pod
Yeah.
when he was playing for Zebra. So it can be.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna change my. I'm gonna change my answer, Robert. I'm stealing that 100. I'm changing my answer.
Let's show it on the stream.
I said it back right. 100%. It's a cool 100%. Sorry. I'm sure you're gonna score plenty. Prove me wrong, my friend. But yeah, I'm 100% with you on that.
So I would like to go with Genovese too.
Mm-hmm.
But another one that I hope is going to be, man, if he's going to be the best young player, it's going to be like a surprise for me. We're going to be Gasperini if I have to pray another player, hoping
Yep.
another player to be like young.
Yep.
Surprise player of the season for me.
Hey, you go first on this one, my friend.
I'm going to be with Favretto this year.
Yeah.
Favretto has to play more and he can be really good addiction. Him and I love to see him and Scrafton playing some games together. Those two in the second row as locks. Yeah. So I go with Favretto as a surprise of the season. We didn't see him a lot playing, but if he was with Quesada, I hope
Well, he's got the physical attributes to be like a really like decent rugby player. He clearly puts on mass quite easy. You know, like he's tall, he's rangy, he can play back row, he can play in the locks. Like he's a very useful player to have both in tournament games and on the bench if you're going to go for like a 6-2 or whatever you're going to do. Like he's a player that fills a lot of holes, which is brilliant. He's a fantastic player, and I definitely see why you picked him. For me, I'm going to go with someone who I thought was going to show a little bit more last season, and it's by no means his fault. It's just it just so happened that Menoncello and Brex were just tearing it up. But I think Drago is someone who can step up, and he's so close to being such a complete 12. Obviously, lots of development for him to do, but he's got the potential to be a really, really talented 12 for us, both at national team and for Benetton.
He loved to charge. Last week, 2 weeks ago, against Ulster, was really interesting to see him charging as a crash ball with Zanandrea on his left. Another player that I would like to mention is this under 20 former Leicester player. I will ask more to Leo next week, which is Koloyadi. He's a number 8 that found few games with Benetton, starting from the bench first game, starting second game here against Arlegans. It can be on a long range. Can be really interesting to see him because he's really athletic. He's on that Itzegor way, right, of player. Can be much bigger too. So
yeah, I'm with you.
Good to see.
Good.
A couple of things, Mike. Few changes in the team. Salvi left, so we don't have anymore him because he's part of the Georgia setup now.
Mm-hmm.
And Benetton brought David Dewal Senegal from the former South African player, Connacht coach in the last couple of games. He's going to be the specialist for the breakdown and helping in the setup, set pieces. So probably line out. He's a specialist in line out. I hear a couple of webinar a few years ago during COVID talking about line out from him. What is interesting is the fact that he signed for Benetton, but he was also announced as a new coach next season for New England Free Jacks. So I don't know if it's gonna be both roles or just one of those. I mean, 1 year with Benetton is gonna leave, or is gonna keep ad interim being in charge of both.
It could be like a consultant role, mate, to be honest. It like short term, get people up. It's just a stopgap until we find someone to step into that position more permanently. Maybe they've got some ideas of players that could fall into that role, to be honest, mate.
To understand that. Anyway.
Yeah.
So just to close with Benetton.
Mm-hmm.
What kind of game you are expecting to see with Benetton? Because we didn't speak about tactical and stuff happening in the field. They want to have a little bit of different approach, different from last season. But for what I saw, we're still there, a little bit rusty in the last two passes, let's say, to score.
Yeah.
When they need a little bit more. Mercado is with Academy, so he was there for the youngsters of the Academy too, Phantom. That's why Mercado is there.
Yeah, so to be honest with you, I think we're still probably going to see, like an anglicized game. Hopefully we do see more of a power game of the forwards, and like you said, we get them all working, because I think that's, that's probably like the low-hanging fruit in terms of really sort of knuckling down the set piece. I can see some value there, mate, to be honest. That said, with the players that he brought in, you really want to get to the ball. You really want to get the ball to Lionel with a yard of space and, you know, a couple of seconds to think about what he wants to do. Like, it just seems like a no-brainer if you're going to bring in these sort of players who, especially someone like Gallagher, can link as well at the back, who can do that stuff and, you know, potentially like beat, you know, a couple of players and then just have hard runners off the line expecting an offload. I think, you know, it's a no-brainer. Like, in terms of the talent in the back line, you almost expect them to play more of a flary offload like type game. Just, you know, break the first tackle, offload, like quick because obviously the one area that we don't do well is we've got light forward, so we can't really play that power game like, you know, the Anglo teams or some of the French teams can, you know.
A couple of issues were around the breakdown last couple of games too, when it was moment to attack and conserve the ball, and then there was stolen by really aggressive Harlequins. The first 15 minutes they were really aggressive in defense.
Yeah, they played well, mate. They played well.
I'm excited to see that Roma Zhang, the really young player for Harlequins next year. Of course, Agnew, the center, the inside center.
Yeah, he was giving it as well. Do you see little scuffle with him and Zanon? He was giving it to Zanon, bless him. He loved it.
He's just waiting for those kind of stuff. But
yeah, like little rub in the face as he's getting up. Like he's an animal. Obviously they've got Joseph still to come in as well, just to go off topic. So he's from many people told me he's a real talent. So it's gonna be interesting to see sort of how he plays. But
it's nice to see Dino Lamb back in the game.
Our boy.
Absolutely. It's
Friend
so important, this guy. We didn't see him playing with Quesada, Mike. So that is something that I would like to face.
Yeah, man. He like, and it was nice for them to take the picture with Seb Negri at the end as well. Like, it was just nice, right, to see all of that. So yeah, man, I'm really happy to see that he's back, and, you know, hopefully he stays fit, injury free. We see him in blue a lot more this season, you know.
Let's move to ZEBRE'S, Mike. Let's spend 23 minutes, so we can 20-30 minutes, depending by how the chat goes, because now Josh, I know, will be part of this. ZEBRE'S Parma.
Yeah.
Danzam. We start the season against Cardiff, right? Because we start against Scarlets. For Benetton, we start against Cardiff.
Sorry, the start of the URC. Yes, you're absolutely right. Yes, it's Cardiff away.
It's Cardiff away.
Yeah.
Can be the game unexpected. That can be something tricky there. Huh? I don't want to say anything else, but can be tricky. You cannot expect some kind of stuff too.
I think the general sort of consensus with ZEBRE'S across all the URC fans is they expect nothing, right? Whereas we know enough, right? We know enough about the current administration with Brunello, how involved he was in terms of the development of these players from a young age. They know him, he knows them, they trust each other. He's really highly regarded by the players. Hey, listen, I think they're going to upset a few people this season. I genuinely do. Obviously, there's a lot of other stuff that they will need to sort out. Maybe stuff outside of like the pitch and, you know, everything that's sort of looming from you know, discussions which shouldn't be said on the pitch or, you know, anywhere near it. But I genuinely think they have the talent to hurt teams, any team this season. It's just they need to sort some of the stuff out, like defensively, and, you know, they need to make sure that they don't get injuries in certain places, because they're light in some places, which I'm sure you'll talk about in a sec as well.
So, Mike, just to add a couple of stuff more, you talk about upsetting people, just to end up with Benetton. Benetton, the focus of this season will be playoff, quarterfinals. I think that is the focus for them. On the other side, ZEBRE'S, they want to win, at least try to win every game against the Welsh teams. I think is fair to say, because a couple of games were really on the edge, and they have a couple of revenge to try to take next year. Look at Cardiff. Remember how Cardiff, the first game of the season, was crazy how it ended up. Now with the
Yeah.
choice to go for a pick tap penalty instead of another
Yeah.
scrum on the way.
Yeah. I think they're good. Honestly, it's so hard because like no matter what we say, we're just going to come across as like Italian fans, like, you know, patriotic Italian. But like genuinely, I think that they could win 4 or 5 games this season. Genuinely, I 5 may be a stretch, but like definitely they can beat 4. Like they can definitely beat 4 teams in out of the you know the URC. They could probably beat 5, but they could definitely beat 4. It's just things have to go their way. Like they have to be sensible.
Here we go, Josh. Aim for 10th and Challenge Cup playoffs again. Challenge Cup playoffs again, fair, extra fair. 10 will be a great season for Brunello and the boys, if I have to tell you. But man, we have to see how we start the season, how the players go in the field, how the injuries they're gonna hurt this team. We miss Cambriani last season. There was something. Some players are not
Otto, let me
there.
ask you a question then.
Go.
If you had to put hand on heart, where do you think they're going to end up this season, like in terms of position?
For me, 13 up can be 13 up because I think Scarlets can be really worse than them. Honestly, sorry, Scarlet's friends. And on the other side, I think the way Dragons did it, okay, but they can be better than that.
Yeah,
I saw playing better Zebra than Dragons in few games.
yeah.
It's hard. I know it's hard, but I have to push in that way because I think they can do it. They have some classy players, some players that grew up so much that
Yeah,
they can prove, no, as the second Italy team.
yeah,
At the end, if you don't pick the players from Benetton, you're gonna pick them up from there if they're not playing abroad. And I think
yeah.
there are players that can show more for us.
I saw quite. It was a common theme last year, but I saw a couple of some South African fans, friends of Italian rugby, clearly that were like, if Zebre managed to play the last 60 minutes like from the start of the game, they'd win like 5. They'd be like playoff contenders. The problem is you can't ship off 4 tries in the first 20 minutes, which they did. I don't know how many times last season, and then just try and chase a game. So like, you know, hopefully they start getting that belief, and that comes from the coach, you know.
In some way, it was too easy. Sometimes was like predictable. The games of Zebra, doing Zebra like flary tries, then a couple of attacks that didn't score or they didn't take 3 points, nothing. Penalty, go back, another penalty in the corner, attacking defensive maul, try from the opposite team. That was something that happened so many times. It was really frustrating. But the mantra for Zebra this year was no more last in the East. Is this like we don't want to be the last team, no more. So I think there's a lot of expectation, sorry, from the coaching team, but also from the players that probably they are grow up that much that you need to change mentality, probably. So
Yeah, they've done it for 2 seasons. There's no excuses. They know what to expect now.
And now you want to see exactly.
Yeah,
because you see 0 point, 15 points. Okay, now what I want, not less than those 15 points.
yeah. I agree. 100% agree. I think I genuinely think that, you know, 13th, 12th isn't outside the realms of like possibility with Zebra. Personally, I think they should be striving for 12th. That should be like the goal that they should try and put themselves on. Personally,
the season is a little bit tricky too, if we have to think, because after Cardiff there's gonna be Munster, Stormers, Glasgow Warriors, and then you have those 3 games really important, plus the games against Benetton. They can be really on a different let's say, motivation on a different.
But how nice would it be to see Zebre win in Parma? Like, I'd love that.
The derby or in the other
Derby.
game? Look,
It's
I
up
would
for
like to
Benetton,
see
but like,
one each, everybody happy.
perfect.
Actually, no, Benetton not going to be happy, but I would like to see that can be really the pivotal point for that season. But before the Benetton games, there can be Lions, Scarlets, Ospreys, and you have to try to catch something because they are Lions home, Ospreys home, and in the middle there is Scarlets.
Yeah.
So
I see it.
These games they will be in October, just before the long stop, because you're gonna play Lions the 19th, the 25th of Scarlets, and then you have a break and you go back the 30th of November to play. So you have time there, time to play after. So it's hard, but can do something.
I think as well, like we haven't mentioned it, but we should, about their game against Glasgow. Like, for those of you guys who missed it, and I understand why you may or may not have, it wasn't obviously televised. It was on Zebre YouTube, and you can go back and watch it. Zebre beat Glasgow, admittedly a young Glasgow, but Zebre are young, and it never bothered anyone playing them. 31-0. And actually, if they made kicks, it could have been, I think, was it 6 points left off the tee, so it could have been 37-0. So I'm genuinely seeing this team who have shown quite a lot in short period of time. Again, you can only play what's in front of you, and maybe that's not the acid test that they need. But 31-0 for a team that leaked tries all the time is a massive motivation boost, isn't it, Otto?
No, it is. There were a couple of good defense from against Mole, a driving Mole from Glasgow. Glasgow, young team, but was the team that used to score one try per a week from the ball, which is crazy to think how good they were in that, and they showed it every time. So, there are opportunities that this year they have to be picked. You cannot leave it there. They're gonna be rotten at the end of the season. You're gonna feel dead inside if you don't take those opportunities.
Opportunities come few and far between, so like they need to be more ruthless. You're absolutely right.
That's why I'm wondering how interesting will be the development of a couple of players. Montemauri is one of them.
Yeah,
is his second year in URC, and I'm expecting great stuff from him. I'm wondering to see Dare. Dare actually is with Franceschetto, the other hooker, and Dare, they are the only players that new transfers. Then you have some youngsters from the academy. One is Milano, which is for me can be another good players in general, but it has to work. The same for Thomas Manca. He's a number 9 former Reds player, former captain under 17, something like that. He played in Rugby Parma this last season. He's an Italian qualified player, but he's Australian. They lost Tiff Eden, Mata Mua, Manfredi, Franco Smith Jr., and Pier Bruno.
Yeah. There's some big names that left, to be honest, but also I think they got really savaged by a lot of injuries in bad areas, and obviously we risk the same, particularly if we look at the lock position. It's a little bit light, and something that has been brought up a couple of times. Be interesting to see sort of how we really sort of almost like work with that, because 4 locks going into a season is admittedly light. Are we going to see more hybrid lock back rows just in case? Is that something that we're going to see? Is there something else in terms of maybe the permit players that we yet to see? Like, what are your thoughts on that, Otto?
Oh, interesting turn. We're gonna see starting which is the best pair of lock for Zebre in your opinion? Zambo
Zambo
or Krumov?
Krumov had a really good season last year. So I think we gave him like what's it called? Unsung hero so many times last season. I think we got to say that he's probably up there, right? So I would say Zambonin and Krumov. Although you've spoken very highly about Canali, I know less about him than you.
Canali
so maybe
good porchetta in Ariccia, you know what I mean? So good luck to people.
So do you want to give the listeners like a bit of a highlight as to why they should be excited about this player?
Canali is one of the few players on the style of Niccolò Cannoni, like workers, tough, hard player. He has to manage better his body. He can do much more. But for me, he's a good standard as he played last year when he was called by Rosselli, let's say. So I think that, and his good tackles to Mike, couple really huge tackles. Sometimes him, I remember a couple of really huge tackles between him and Pitinari, like chopping people, like sometimes mentioning in Nocera, those kind of tackles that you leave the player there. So for me,
Yeah,
he work much better. He's growing. He's a player that still has to show more of what he can do, and his peak is not there. His prime, like they say now. So
yeah. I think like one really interesting point for those of you guys who are listening. Obviously, I said right at the start, Zebre were savaged by injuries. The injury log that are coming back, like we're looking at some serious talent there alone, right? So you mentioned Nocera. Can't wait to see him back on the pitch. We got young Jon, who hopefully manages to, yeah. And we've still got Pani to come back. We've still got some really influential players for Zebre, and when we were talking about Benetton, we're talking about how competition drives the standard and it drives excellence across the team, right? Zebre have got a good roster, man. Like they're just young players, so hopefully we see one of the 4 under-20s that have been there for the past 4 years step up and put a bit of fire in people's belly, because the one thing that's lacking in a young team is people who know what to do when the tough gets going.
Man, we have to talk about a player that surprised everybody. Let me put a picture. Should I put a picture of this player?
Let's do it.
Okay, let me put this picture. Just let me see where I put him. Okay. You know what I'm talking about, Mike.
I think I do.
You know this guy. The guy in the tablet. Or your friend. Gangs of Trulla.
Gangs. Yeah.
Gangs of Trulla. This guy can be a cracker. So let's dig into the different try scorer and stuff. We didn't mention Jesse once, but I think now something will move. Right? Probably something will move. But let's miss. So try scorer of the season for Zebre, Mike. He's gonna be again the record man.
I'm going to change my mind. Obviously, it's easy to say Jersey because of where he is, but I'm going to say Cambriani. I think he's going to get more game time. I think as long as he stays fit, he looked very good in the short amount of time that we saw him at the preseason. Yes, mate.
That I loved it to see. A lot of work.
Yeah, hard worker as well. So I'm going to say Cambriani.
Cambriani, I'm going to go with the classic, with the tradition. Jesse is called to do more, not only scoring this year. I know, but I'm really going with him. I want him to fight because now there is a lot of there is a queue to play on the wing in Italy.
Yeah.
If all are fit, if you just to put the names all there because we know the name. Ioane, Lainag, Odogu, Capuozzo, even Gallagher can play there. Trulla, that get better.
Barney, Jersey,
and Jesse. I mean, all these guys are there. So,
and then obviously there's the younger boys underneath as well. Scott Leverine, like, oh, mate, it's thereabouts, isn't it? Like, it's mental. We've never had this, right? Like, think back, even in our like best years prior to this era, we knew that if Mazzi was fit, he'd be playing, right? Like, now we're thinking, oh, like, what's the opposition doing? Okay, if they kick a lot, are we really going to put Capuozzo in? Oh, maybe it might be better to put Gallagher in if they kick a lot, because, like, there's so many things that we can talk about. Oh, Parney, he's got a massive boot. Maybe we can use that. Like, and the beauty of it is, mate, it's different horses for different courses, and each one of those players that we mentioned, right, has their own X factor. Like, that. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's maybe you can say Monty and Line are a little bit alike. You could say that. I don't necessarily agree, but you could say that they're sort of
different style in general to approach.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Each one is like completely like got their own, you know, USP, if you know what I mean, mate.
Let's go with the top scorer. Will be Montemauri or Crescentelli? Oh.
I'm going to say Crescentelli because I think Montemauri is probably going to go with the Italian team, so he's probably going to be on the field less.
Not Dare. So you think
no?
Would be okay? Interesting. Here we have to improve the three of them. They have to improve with their skills, kicking skills.
Yep.
I'm really interested to see how they're going to work because.
Who knows? Maybe Frulla's going to take responsibility again, or Pani when he's back, mate.
Let's see. It's really that is the point. You don't know who's going to kick from where. But hopefully, somebody will be able to kick on the 88%. 90% will be la crema, the cream.
Honestly, Captain Jack, do a Paris and just say, "Listen, lads, I'm taking it."
doing a Paris.
Doing a Paris, yeah. So, oh, what you want a drop goal? Don't worry, guys, I've got this.
Well, that guy will be Fischetti, the new captain, actually, right?
Yeah, congratulations. Well deserved, man. Well deserved. We put a post up. Fisco, congratulations, my friend.
Bravo Capitano. On the other side,
yes, man.
I think they will still have Lamaro and Sneeman.
Yeah, I would have thought so.
Let's move to the breakthrough player of the season. Who are going to be the player that we're going to remember this season, no matter what, no matter how?
I'm going to say Di Bartolomeo. I think he has a good opportunity now. I think Zebre, obviously, they've got BG, who was brilliant last year before he got injured. In terms of throwing, like we need consistency at hooker, and I'm hoping he can be someone who gets a lot of game time and, you know, grows as a player. So my breakthrough player is almost someone who I'm hoping will do well, if that makes sense. But
okay, for me, breakthrough player of the season will be Montemauri. This season will be Montemauri.
Would be nice to see him do well.
I would like to understand more how they want to play him, which part of the game, the managing, how they're gonna manage him, Dare and Crescentelli, because Crescentelli for me still is the more probably classy player that they have Zebra. Technical.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
More all-rounded in some way. I don't know how to explain it better, but it seems like to have that gear, the right gear to prove more. But breakthrough, yeah, Montemauri. If I have to pick a forward, the breakthrough player probably is gonna be Asa, like last season. Asa.
He was brilliant last year, man. No, Jon?
No.
Jon under Brunello might be like the Hulk.
I know, but that will be the surprise for me because I think he has to play, and then let's see. Because the injury every time he had something happening, and it's really
been so unlucky, isn't he?
Yeah, and okay, we have also the permit players. We didn't talk about them. looks like there is Nasove from Valo Rugby, there is Bittaccini 12-13, and Locatelli.
He looked good, actually. To give a shout out, I thought against, was it Bertaccini who scored that ridiculous try?
The one, yeah, that he picked the ball on the second phase attack.
Yeah, nice. on Zebra 40, and then he basically beautiful.
Offload
That's it.
Yeah,
that's it, mate. He looks good. He looks good. Rate him. No. No. You're talking about the first half. I'm talking the second half where it picks up.
No, that is.
Was it Bozzoni? Okay, yeah, okay. That was a thing of beauty.
In I don't know, 7 seconds. He did 3 tackles for a game.
Have you ever watched Blue Mountain State?
No.
No, okay, right. I'll tell you something, and hopefully some of the listeners have watched it as well. But it's about like this American football team, and one of the captain has like this thing in like this syringe in his drawer, and basically one of the guys thinks it's steroid, so he injects himself with it because he's about to run a race. And basically he comes in, he's like, "What are you doing with my rabies?" Like he went but Sonny was the guy who just injected himself with rabies and just went savage with those 3 tackles. He was beautiful, man. So yeah, he was he went full rabies, mate. He was brilliant. Honestly, like
Dominguez, man. Oh, I was thinking today he can be, for me, one of the surprise of the season, because he found his spot due to injury last season, but he kept playing there, and he seems a player that is always give. I don't know if he can grow up more, how much, but he seems to be okay. This is me. This is what I'm showing. So,
who do you think's going to take the 9 shirt, Otto? Because I have no idea. Is it going to be Gonzalo?
Yeah, Gonzalo Garcia. Gonzo is sometimes a little bit too much Fury Road.
So who's going to be number 2 for you?
Number 2, BG.
School's that not? Sorry. No, number 2. The 9 substitute 9.
And that is tricky because I'm wondering, as Robert is saying, about Bozzoni. He's a winger, but he's been played also as a 9.
Yeah,
Bozzoni can be an option, but I don't think he's the last option at the moment. Tom Manca, the academy, and stuff like that. But I'm not quite sure about Fusco. I didn't see Fusco really well, honestly.
He played. Fusco is always that frustrating player because if he didn't have to pass as a 9, he'd be brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Like his kicks were nice, like his dinks over the top were beautiful. It's just he's so erratic when he plays. But then also I think Alessandro Garbisi is a little bit the same, where he's inaccurate with his passes from the base. So just stuff for them to work on, really, isn't it? Like they're fantastic players. They've got so much talent. They just need to grow in the right areas,
What a season.
Best young player. Go on, Otto.
Sorry?
Best young player. We didn't say that, did we?
Best young player. Best young player is gonna be Dylan DeLeo.
You were saying this last season when he got signed. Like he just got okay. So you think this is going to be his year then?
Yes.
Nice. You've been saying it for a while, and obviously you followed him for a long time now. So like
carrying up stuff.
Yeah,
I think he can give something, but we didn't see it.
Yeah, hopefully, I agree, because we need like a really solid. We need solid locks, don't we? So hopefully he finds his way.
Sorry, but I'm going with him. I know there are a lot of other players. Rizzoli is another one of them, but no, man, I'm going with him. Still, I want to see him being better.
Yeah, I'm going to go for someone who we haven't seen so much because of injury. But if you go and watch the under-20s, he was phenomenal. I'm going to say Andreani, just because Yeah, we know what he can do. He just needs to stay fit. He needs to grow. He needs to understand this level slightly better. But he has so much potential, man. Like I'm a big fan.
And the relationship between Andreani and the coach is different now. I remember a lot of stuff happening with Rosselli before. Sometimes like changing Andreani before too early in a game when he was playing well, situation like that. So yes, Andreani can be one of those guys that can be one of the best youngest player, even if.
And you said your surprise was Hasa, or no?
Hasa can be the surprise, but Dominguez can be the surprise.
Dominguez, interesting.
Can be too.
I'm gonna go.
We go with a lot of hopes, Mike.
Yeah. Well, listen, like, what's the fun in breaking down every person's like stats to try and make an educated guess? This is ultimately what we want, right? It's our podcast. So if people don't like it, then tough. Yeah, exactly. So for me, I think, I would like to see, right, a surprise. I would like to see one of, I said Di Bartolomeo. I think that, hopefully he gets a bit of game time. Trying to think, BG's probably in front, and then obviously there's Ribaldi. I would like to see Ribaldi be able to throw. That would be my surprise. If he can throw, like, he's brilliant. He adds a lot in the front row, like in the scrum. It's just he needs to be able, like, 60% is not good. So let's hope, my friend. Let's hope for that for me to surprise.
That's the prophecy, Mike.
Let's hope, my friend.
Well. So, Mike, that's it for today, I think, because we discussed the best way possible. In general, who you think will win this UFC? Couple of just quick boom.
I think, I think potentially, like, the Stormers. They've had exposure to like winning it, and then they've had exposure to losing it. I think Storm, but then Leinster, just like, you can't look past Leinster, can you?
Jordi Barrett.
Yeah. You know what? I don't want to say either Leinster or Storm. You know what? I think Munster are going to win it this year.
I was going to look, Mike, Cian and company, our Irish friends in the chat.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm starting just dropping a little bit of like something so they can have a little argument about it. It's all good. Stirring the pot now. Munster winning it. Don't worry, boys. Don't bother watching it. Munster have won it.
You know how much I like South Africans too, so Stormers can be interesting. But I want to see Willems and Gomez Zulu bursting.
You love them, don't you, mate? What would you think? Right, okay. So we've spoken about like the franchise. What are your thoughts about Sharks this season? Do you think they've got
try to play
underdogs
with the head and not with the other head? Yes, because they how can I explain, like, mistakes, like throwing ball to somebody hoping the player was there catching that ball after line break. No, man, keep that ball. I know with Plumtree there was a little bit more of this style, but of course the team will be strong this year.
How much you reckon that is, like, you've got these all-star players in a team and a little bit of his ego? Like, how much do you think is that, like, they need to score like these ridiculous tries? They don't want to go multi-phase and just like grind a team down because they're expected to score these wonderful tries. How much of that do you think sort of comes into it?
At the beginning of the season, yes, a lot, because then there was the frustration and they were trying to overplay sometimes. So Sharks at the beginning of the season, they were overplaying. After playing the second pod, they used to have the shape ready, and inaccuracy. The way they were passing the ball was poor. But even the forwards, they were trying too much. And then when they start just playing, just more, not conservative, but more keep the ball safe.
Yeah.
In some situation, they were better. Of course, Masagu during the season helped a lot. But
also, like, a team like that, surely they can, surely a team like that could just revert to the power game. And like I said, go multi-phase, just off 9, constantly just batter a team down. And like, surely that's their plan B to anything, right? It's just so surprising how much they underperform, like considering the talent that they have in that team. So hopefully they manage to solve that puzzle,
This year, for example, Werner Koch is not with the team anymore, which was key in the way
he was an animal, mate.
The surfer, yeah.
The
Metallica guitarist.
Tarzan.
That's true, but no, let's see. It will be really interesting. I would like to see how they will set Mouse.
Yeah, that's a good point, actually. We didn't even mention, Josh said Khaleesi there now as well.
Yeah, Khaleesi, the captain, is going to give mentality.
Makes it easier to go there. Too fat for France.
Too fast for France. My God, he was playing this championship. He played the championship. Just to end, you think Argentina will do the ambush to the Springboks? Will ambush the Springboks in some way, or is not?
Mate, I'd love to see them win one each.
One each.
Why? Why not? Fuck it. Why not? One each.
Che ci frega. Just.
Yeah, fuck it. Like it would be nice, especially because we have an investment in that Argentinian team from Benetton as well. And if Garcia's playing as well, there's some investment from ZEBRE'S as well. Why not? Why not? Fuck it. 1-1.
Albornoz, Mendy, Bernasconi.
Gallo. Right.
Former Zebre player Bello injured.
He got injured. Oof.
Yeah, long issue, but not our job now anymore.
Best of luck, Bello. Anyway, should have played for Italy, mate.
So, Mike, see you on Friday night for Cardiff Zebre.
Boom.
Get ready. Couple of ice beers. Good beers this time. We need good beers. Strong, good beers.
Yeah, just nothing. Good Italian beers this time. I think that's where we went wrong last time. You were going for all your like weird Belgian reds and
this week, well, I'm gonna send you a picture of the beer that I drink this weekend. Was with serum of mozzarella and pasta.
How?
Di pollo e birrificio italiano combo.
Did you like just out of interest? Did you like when you drank it? Did you sprout a pizza base in your hand? You just like what's going on here?
I just add basil in it.
I love it. Anyway, mate, I think it's probably time, isn't it?
Yeah. Thank you everyone to listen us. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel. You can follow us on X, and of course we have a nice Instagram page, and you can follow us also on Spotify, where we upload all the audio podcasts. All the videos will be here on Twitter and on YouTube in our channel. Oh, it's nice. You see, we talk about beers, and now
it's going off.
Happening. Okay. Yeah. Robbie, ciao. Thank you to be here too. And hey, Forza Benetton, Forza Zebre, Forza Italia. See you next Friday, and then next Monday for the next episode of Fratelli di Rugby. Mike, ciao. Have a good night.
Buonanotte. Ciao.